Welcome back, guys. Today we'll be discussing about Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Before going into the concept, let me ask you one question. If someone is going to sleep and you ask, at what time exactly tell me the time when you went into sleep? Can you tell the answer? At what time you exactly went into sleep? That is not at all possible, because if you are telling the time means you have not slept, right? And if you have slept, that means you cannot see the watch, exactly, right? Exactly the same thing is happening in some of the physical quantities, and that principle was given by Heisenberg, and that's the name Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So this principle was given by Heisenberg in the year 1927, and this is also based on wave particle duality. What is the statement then? It tells that it is impossible to determine precisely and simultaneously the values of both the members of a pair of physical variables which describe the motion of an atomic system. Why it is written atomic system over here, we will see in our further discussions. Now these pairs which cannot be measured simultaneously and accurately are known as canonically conjugate variables. So few examples of these canonically conjugate variables are position and momentum, energy and time, angular momentum and angular displacement. In our discussion, I will be concentrating on this position and momentum. One cannot measure the position and momentum of a moving microscopic particles simultaneously and accurately. Okay, so this is the uncertainty principle. Further, this is significant for microscopic objects and not significant for macroscopic objects, and hence it is more applicable in our quantum physics and quantum world. It imposes limitations on the accuracy of simultaneous measurement of position and momentum of an object. Here I have mentioned position and momentum. That doesn't mean that it is only in position and momentum. This is also applicable for energy and time, as well as angular momentum and angular displacement. That means any two physical quantities which, if they are canonical conjugate of each other, then there is limitations on the accuracy of simultaneous measurement. They cannot be measured accurately and simultaneously. The more the accuracy in the measurement of position, if you are measuring the position more accurately, that means there is less error, then the accuracy for the measurement of momentum will be less. If you are measuring position more accurately, then momentum cannot be measured more accurately. So the more the accuracy in the measurement of position, the less will be the accuracy in momentum measurement, and vice versa. One of the physical quantity, if you are measuring more accurately, there will be more error in the other physical quantity. The product of the error in measurement of position and momentum is equal or more than an integral multiple of a constant. This we will see in our further slides. Now, if delta x is the error with the measurement of position, if somebody is measuring the position of an electron, suppose, and delta x is the error in the measurement, whenever you are doing some experiment, you are taking some observation, it is obvious that there will be some error. Similarly, when measuring the position, let delta x is the error present in that observation, and delta p is the error with the measurement of momentum of that electron. Then according to the principle, delta x into delta p, that is the multiplication of both the error, is of the order of h bar by 2. And as we all know, h bar is equals to h by 2 pi. So if I'll substitute h by 2 pi over here, this product will be of the order of h by 4 pi. So in some books you'll be getting this first expression, in some books you'll be getting this second expression, but both are same. This is the expression for one-dimensional thing. If it is moving in a three-dimensional system, then this can be extended into these three equations. This is delta x, that is the error in the measurement of position in x direction, and delta px is the error with the measurement of momentum in the x direction, and their product should be greater than equals to h by 4 pi. Similarly, delta y and delta py, these are along y directions. That product is greater than equals to h by 4 pi, and this is in the z direction. Till now, we have seen one pair of canonical conjugates. Now coming to some other canonical conjugate pairs, they are energy and time. So here we'll be considering the error in the measurement of energy as delta E and the error in measurement of time as delta T. Then we can write the expression same as the previous one, delta E into delta T is greater than equals to h bar by 2 or h by 4 pi. Similarly, for this angular momentum and angular displacement, if J is angular momentum and theta is angular displacement, delta J is the error in the measurement of angular momentum, and delta theta is error in measurement of angular displacement, then delta J into delta theta is greater than equals to h bar by 2 or h by 4 pi. I have already told you that this uncertainty principle is significant for microscopic bodies but not significant for macroscopic bodies, right? Now we'll see what is the justification of this statement. Here, what is this? This is a basketball. Basketball, is it a macroscopic or microscopic? Obviously, it is a macroscopic body. Now we'll see this electron moving around the nucleus, and this electron is a microscopic body. This uncertainty principle is significant for this microscopic body, but it is not significant for macroscopic body. Why it is so? Let us see. Now, this is the general expression given by uncertainty principle. Only thing what I have changed over here is we have the expression delta x into delta p is greater than equals to h by 4 pi. In place of delta p, I have written m into delta v because momentum is equals to mass into velocity. So mass into change in velocity, that will give us the change in momentum. So delta x into m delta v is greater than equals to h by 4 pi. Now just by reshuffling this, one can write delta v is greater than equals to h by 4 pi into m delta x, where delta x is error in measurement of position. Now we'll do the calculations in both macroscopic and microscopic cases. First, we'll consider the macroscopic body, that is a basketball, or you can take a cricket ball as well. And what will be the approximate mass of a ball? That is around 0.5 kg, right? So I have taken this m as 0.5 kg. And what can be the error in measuring the position? Like if you are taking some reference point, and from that point, what is the position of the ball? If this is the reference point, this is the ball is kept over here. What is the position with respect to this reference point? Then you have to measure this much distance, right? And that if 3-4 people will measure, they may get minute error, and that will be of the order of 1 millimeter. That I have taken as 10 to the power minus 3 meter. Now, if you substitute all these values over here and do the calculation, h is the Planck's constant, and m, whatever I have taken 0.5 kg, delta x is 10 to the power minus 3. So after substituting these values, we can do the calculation and one can get delta V is of the order of 1.054 into 10 to the power minus 31 meter per second. Just note down these things, 10 to the power minus 31 meter per second. So what is the velocity of a ball? It will be some meter per second or some centimeter per second, like that order. But what is the error it is coming? 10 to the power minus 31. Can you imagine the difference in the error? If you are taking 10 centimeter and their error is 10 to the power minus 31 meter, that error is so negligible. Okay. Now coming to an electron orbiting in an atom. We know the mass of electron is 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg, and that electron is moving inside the atom. So maximum whatever the error in the position one can obtain, that will be of the order of angstrom, because the size of atom is in the order of angstrom. So delta x is equals to 1 angstrom, and that is equals to 10 to the power minus 10 meter. Now we'll see the value for delta V for an electron orbiting in an atom. Just put these values back over here, and if you do the calculation, we are obtaining delta V to be 5.79 into 10 to the power 5 meter per second. Can you now imagine what a large value of error you are getting? Compared to this, here it is 10 to the power minus 31 meter per second, and here you are getting 10 to the power 5 meter per second. So can you imagine this value is so high? If you are measuring a velocity and you are getting the error in the order of 10 to the power 5 meter per second, so error is very large, right? This is how you can see here the error whatever we are getting, it is almost negligible. So this is not significant for macroscopic bodies, but here you can see if there is a small error in position, you will be getting a high error in case of velocity. So this is significant for microscopic bodies. Now we'll see one consequences of uncertainty principle. Absence of electron inside the nucleus. To prove this, let us imagine that the electron is residing inside the nucleus. As all of you know, the size of nucleus is of the order of 10 to the power minus 15 meter. And if the electron is residing inside the nucleus, then the maximum error in measuring the position of the electron will be 10 to the power minus 15 meter. That error cannot go outside the nucleus. So the total maximum error is whatever the size of the nucleus. So delta x should be less than equals to these things. This is the maximum error one can obtain for the position. Now from the uncertainty principle, delta p is greater than equals to h by 4 pi into delta x. I have just taken this delta x from the left hand side to the right hand side. Now substituting the value of h and delta x over here, delta p is greater than equals to this value, and that is delta p is greater than equals to 5.27 into 10 to the power minus 20 Newton second. Now if this is greater than equals to this value, that means minimum is this. That can be more than that, but that cannot be less than that. So P minimum is equals to 5.27 into 10 to the power minus 20 Newton second. E minimum, that is the minimum energy, can be obtained by using this relation, that is the relativistic energy relation, P minimum square C square plus M0 square C4. C is velocity of light, M0 is rest mass of electron, and P minimum we can take this value. Once we'll substitute that over in this expression, we can obtain E minimum is coming to be of the order of 100 mega electron volt. But From the experimental results obtained from this beta decay, the energy of electrons emitted from a radioactive material is less than 5 mega electron volt. But here we are getting the minimum energy is 100 mega electron volt. That means the energy should be greater than 100 mega electron volt. But here it is telling that it should be less than 5 mega electron volt. So both are contradictory, right? We are getting this contradicting result by considering that the electron is present inside the nucleus. That means what we have considered, that is not at all correct, right? That means electron can never be present inside the nucleus. This is the proof what we obtained from this calculation, that electrons are not present inside the nucleus, and this justification for this statement we got it by considering the uncertainty principle. So this is one of the consequences from uncertainty principle. You may be getting this question in your exam, that so that the electron is not present inside the nucleus by using uncertainty principle. So today we'll stop here. Next class we'll continue our journey with some more interesting concepts. Till that, go through all the modules to have better understandings, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel with your friends.